Hi, it's Shrimp Scampi Day. I thought today that I would start by showing you what ingredients we use for the recipe because there's so few ingredients and this is going to be such a quick recipe, it would make it easier for you. So I laid it all out. Yes, I'm actually getting a little better. I'm doing a little prep work. Okay, here it is. You have your lemons, your parsley, your garlic, your hot peppers, and these are the ones that I get, the hot chili peppers that Joey Gorga's daddy brings me. They're dried, fresh hot chili peppers. Butter, of course your EVOO, about a pound of shrimp, and it depends. If you guys like a lot of shrimp, certainly put more shrimp in. We usually have just a pound because my kids pick at it and they cut them up into pieces. They like the flavor of everything, but they don't necessarily need all the shrimp. And shallots. Now the shallots are like an onion. They have the same texture as an onion. They smell like an onion. They make your eyes tear like an onion. Honestly, I do not know the difference between a shallot and an onion. I want to say it's like a baby onion. All I know is I used to watch the Food Network all the time, and every time I watched it, somebody who made shrimp scampi at one time, and I wish I remembered who, used shallots instead of onions. So I went crazy looking for shallots in the store because I was dying to find shallots to try it for my next recipe. And I like them and I use them. So now that's what I use. White wine, you can use real white wine if you prefer, and lemon. Lemon is completely up to you how much you want to use. I usually use a little bit more than a whole lemon, but my son actually isn't necessarily crazy about a really lemony dish, so I don't put too much for him. And that's the whole reason why. So what you're going to do is basically start off with your olive oil, your EVOO. Now the thing about shrimp scampi is I usually make it over pasta. If you want to make it with just like crostini bread or, like an appetizer with some crusty bread on the side, it's a little bit different. You don't necessarily need to put as much juice in it, but I'll tell you the truth, Nanny always told me, the more you put in it, the more flavor you have. So I usually put a lot of everything in it. Also, you want to salt and pepper your shrimp, and I do that a little bit ahead of time just to let it seep in there so that they get nice and dry and they're not all goopy. And the butter. Okay, so you're basically going to do half and half. If you use 2 tablespoons of butter, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of oil. If you use 4 tablespoons of butter, you're going to use 4 tablespoons of oil. Again, most of you know by now that my family likes everything a little bit juicy. So I use 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 tablespoons of olive oil just to start. And that's because we have to make sure that there's enough juice. In the meantime, I have already boiled my water and I have my pasta set aside. I strained it, it's al dente. And what you're gonna do is obviously you're gonna put your garlic and oil and butter and shallots. So you chop your shallots. Now, this is, again, up to you. I use a little bit extra. You can always use less. To me, less is more. I can't wait to get my Not So Soccer Mom apron because every time I cook, I'm always stressed out about what I'm going to get on me. Typically, I get everything on me. Okay, the butter's almost melted. Here I am with my Rachel Ray spoon. And then I put in my shallots. And then I'm going to put in my garlic. Now, I used about 4, but I use large cloves of garlic. I usually chop them into really small pieces, but to me, the more garlic, again, the more flavor. You can overdo garlic, don't get me wrong. I've definitely had recipes where people have just put way too much garlic, but I don't think that's too much for this. So, figure about 4 garlic, and again, it's big cloves. And I put that down with the olive oil. Whoops, dropped a little. Now, this is going to simmer for about 3 or 4 minutes. And you just want to get the shallots. Oh my God, the smell. It does smell like onion and garlic. I really wish somebody please find out for me what is the difference between a shallot and an onion. I'm dying to know. Until the shallots get soft. Again, remember you don't want to burn your garlic, so don't ever put your garlic cook your garlic until it's dark brown, because it just gets bitter. You lose the flavor. You lose the good flavor, I should say. Not that you lose the flavor. Okay, now I'm going to put in my hot pepper. I have one that is seeded, and I have one with the seeds. Remember that if you put the seeds in, the seeds are what give you the heat. So if you like the flavor of the hot pepper, but you don't want all the heat, you can take some of the seeds out, just crack it open and take the seeds out and just use the red flakes. And I do 1 and 1 because my daughter doesn't like anything too hot. Unless it's a buffalo wing, of course. Don't ask me what it is about the buffalo wing. She's perfectly fine with those being spicy. Okay, salt and pepper on your shrimp. And your shallots are getting soft and transparent, pretty transparent. Now what I'm going to do is put the shrimp in. And I'm going to cook the shrimp until they're pink. Not necessarily completely cooked through. They're going to be pink, but they're going to be just shy of being cooked through. And that really is quick too. Going to take just maybe 2 or 3 minutes. In the meantime, while that happens, I'm going to chop some parsley. I use a handful, palmful. Figure a palmful of parsley. And then I usually have a little left over. But it depends on the day. I'm so hungry right now that this is killing me. You guys know I'm on this diet, right? I'm doing this for you. Yep, getting pink. And be sure to turn each one so that they're all cooked evenly. Very simple. Just the smell is just ridiculous. I love shellfish. I love lobster. I love shrimp. Everyone loves this. Really, everyone loves this. I make this every single Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is at my house, so it's kind of crazy. There's a ton of us. I'm cooking pretty much the whole time. But this is one thing that I can't really cook ahead of time. So I'm usually at the stove. There's a couple of things I'm usually at the stove for. Then by the end of the night, I'm finally to the point where I could just relax, open some presents, and have some wine. But you know, that's what happens when you have the holiday at your house. Okay, now, you know, the shrimp, by the way, just so you know, you don't necessarily have to go out and buy fresh shrimp. You can buy them in bulk at the ShopRite. Actually, you can buy them at Costco. I buy them at ShopRite when they're on sale. Every now and then they have it really feels like all the time, they have the coupon in the sales circular where you can get shrimp for $5 off, and you buy the bag of shrimp, and there's all different ones. Don't ever buy the ones that are cooked already and try to like sneak them in afterwards, because they get kind of mushy. They're not good, especially if you're ever using a cooked shrimp for shrimp cocktail. Don't defrost them and serve them. Oh, terrible. That's disgusting. But the ones that are not cooked, I buy them peeled and deveined. There's different sizes. So the ones that I'm buying for Shrimp Scampi, I don't usually buy the largest ones that they have, because you don't really need it. Plus, they're not really nice to make forkfuls of things in your mouth, you know. You don't want these huge pieces of shrimp in your mouth. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is take my shrimp that's cooked probably about 3/4 of the way through, but it gets like a nice little caramelization on it between the butter and the olive oil, the garlic, and the shallots. There's a little bit of salt and pepper already in there. You have your hot pepper. Gets a little bit pink, a little bit cooked. Then you take them out. You know what? I I know how messy I am, so excuse me. Excuse me for the closeness. But I better do this a little more carefully. You know I'm a messy cook. It's just the way it is. Now, believe it or not, you're going to take the whole rest of the butter, another 4 tablespoons, so you're basically using a whole stick of butter, and 4 more tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to take this top off so it comes out easier. That's about right. Okay, now you're going to melt this slowly. Remember, you don't want to burn the butter. Once this melts together, you're going to add in the white wine and the lemon juice. Now, no matter what I make, for some reason we end up putting grated cheese on it. I mean, not no matter what I make, but a lot of what I make. So I also have grated cheese on the side and my trusty, handy-dandy collagen. You know, Nanny said you always have to have collagen. Now, I will tell you that I did learn from Rachel Ray, and I do have some water, starchy water, from when I boiled the linguini. I saved it on the side. So you can do a combination. You can either do starchy water or you can do the collagen. I really like the flavor of collagen. I don't know if I'm just used to the flavor of collagen. Nanny told me that's what I was supposed to use, so I do, but I like it. Okay, as this starts to melt, you're going to add in about a half a cup to a cup. Probably closer to a cup of white wine. And I juice 1 lemon. I tell you the truth, I don't really worry about the seeds. I pick them out usually when I'm eating. It's too messy for me to worry about taking them out ahead of time. But I'll start with 1, and I actually taste. And if it tastes, you know, lemony enough, then I don't add any more lemon. And it depends on the size of the lemon. Some lemons aren't as juicy as others. I roll them now. Do you ever roll your lemons to get them soft and get the juice out? I do. It's my new thing. Limes, they're the worst. Okay, now I'm going to give this another shot of salt and pepper. And of course, I used my family's favorite, the Dreamfield pasta. I do know that the Pirrella Plus also has protein in it. And if you look, there's a lot of pastas now. I didn't really realize until I actually went back and looked this week. But there are quite a few pastas that have protein in them. Most of them don't taste as good as this one, which is why I love this one. But just so you know, if you're banking only on Dreamfield having pasta with protein, it's not necessarily the case. I haven't found any whole wheat pastas that my family's actually willing to use yet. Okay, this is all combined. We're going to add in chopped parsley, and we're going to add the shrimp back in with whatever juices were there from before. I'm right-handed. I have to turn everything. There we go. And then you're going to finish cooking your shrimp through. Now, in about another minute or two, as it comes to a boil, I'm going to take out what you can do. Now, you don't have to do this, but I find that it incorporates the flavors into it beautifully, is I made the pasta ahead of time, and I'm going to pour the pasta into the dish, just a little of it. And I have a bowl, actually. My handy-dandy pasta bowl. And then I'll try to give you a look at what everything looks like.